Hello and welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is your PAXTON Road TV preview show for the game Manchester City, or should I say Spurs versus Manchester City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow. Kickoff 4:30. I am Sam Spurs for life, and I'm joined in the house, Mike Hotspur Hustler, Darius 3K, Sid Spurs, and Mr. K, and he's got Talk to K. I like that. Added that little Talk to K bit. When did he sneak that one in? Come off mute now, Mr. K. Welcome.
I've got that new show on Tuesday nights, isn't it? So it's basically a Talk to K on Will Stewart's PHFC's channel.
It's the name I like, Talk to K. I like that one. That's very good. That's very good. Okay, then before we start the show, smash that like button. Please do that. If everybody watching does that throughout the show, we'll have loads of likes and we'll have loads more content we can get to you guys on your homepage. And then PAXTON Road will begin to grow a little bit more as we're doing now. Anyway, it is Manchester City, gentlemen. Are we looking forward to the new season? I'm going to start with Mike Hotspur Hustler at the top. Are you looking forward to the new season? Hotspur Hustler, take it away.
I already have. Last night, I enjoyed the opening.
Oh, you didn't do that, did you?
Game of
Not
the
so
season.
quickly. Oh my God! Didn't even
Shout out
give it 2
Thomas
minutes.
Frank. Shout out Thomas Frank, by the way.
Didn't give it 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Premier League is started. What better way than to see your local rivals lose 2-0 to the newly promoted Brentford? Seeing the centre backs get bullied, that was enjoyable. So yeah, no, so far I've enjoyed it. We got a tough game. We've got a tough game tomorrow against the champions, so I'm not expecting an easy ride against Man City. So I'm excited for it. I'm optimistic. I think we've looked all right in pre-season. There's been positive changes, progression. The lads, I think our fitness levels look far superior to what they were under Mourinho, and I've probably said this in pre-season already. So I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm overconfident, but I'm optimistic that under Nuno there's positive changes, and I don't expect to see anything sort of, how can I say it? I'm not expecting to see miracles worked on the first game of the season for us, but as long as I see progression and positivity in our play, with our attacking intent, then yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the season brings for us.
Looking forward to it. It's always good when he ain't played yet and somebody else has played earlier on and they've lost, like Arsenal, and then you can look forward to your game. But we have got Manchester City, so we might have to just temper our expectations slightly. 100%. However, I'd rather play them now than play them a lot later on in the season. Mr. K, welcome with the shades on. I like that. It's very cool. What's your thoughts? You're looking forward to the new season, sir?
Looking forward to the new season. I think it's already started with an absolute banger yesterday. It's always good to see your rivals fall down and on their faces. But
Mr. Kid, there's a bee behind you.
What's happened?
There's a bee behind you.
No, I'm sitting in the garden, so therefore there's lots of sunshine. And that's what the shades are for. It's not just for cool looks. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow's match. I'm looking forward to the matches which are happening today. I think we've had the type of summer that we've had. I think everyone's looking forward to being distracted back to the real thing, which is the football itself. Yeah. Forget everything that's been happening off the pitch. I think when you look at the actual pitch itself, you start to see signs of improvement in our team. You're starting to see smiles coming from the players again. There seems to be something new in the air. Is that Romero? Is that the new goalkeeper? Is that Brian Gill? Or is it anticipation of maybe more players coming in? Paratici and Nuno's getting together and actually performing what they need to do to strengthen our team, make it better. Personally, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think that we've got a lot to offer on the pitch, and we seem to be Man City's bogey team. So, 4-1, I think.
Oh, you're predicting some scores. You did this on the other show we had, talking about fours and that. I'm just comfortable if we win this game tomorrow. Sid, a.k.a. R2, how are we doing? You all right? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Listen, enough is enough now. Mr. K, taken. Don't forget. No, I'm looking forward to it, actually, because the last time we played, it was Bergwijn's debut at City when we played him at home, and he scored a blinder. All the shenanigans now have finished. The season starts tomorrow. Let's get into game mode. Let's get into professional. Let's start winning mode. And it's gonna, I'm going to the game tomorrow, and I'm so looking forward to it. It's gonna be, over a year now we've not had any football. Fans have not been there. Atmosphere tomorrow is going to be electric. We've got a couple of new signings. We've got a brand new manager in. Optimism is going to be high. We've got a couple of players in, and like you said, City, first game of the season. You couldn't expect a bigger team, but it's the first game of the season. Anything can happen, and they'll be there for the taking. KDB is not playing tomorrow as well, apparently. So
I think either. I think no
Stones either.
No Foden, yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited. I can't wait to go out there tomorrow, and you'll be hearing from me tomorrow.
Oh yes, can't wait. Mr. Darius 3K. Before I start with you, Darius, are you wearing a jumper thrown over your shoulder?
I was just gonna say, I'm not Darius 3K today. I'm blanket 3K. You can see.
Blind.
So,
I thought it was,
your blanket 3K is very, very relaxed at the moment.
Jesus
very,
Christ.
very relaxed. I'm enjoying myself.
As long as it's not a cardigan thrown over
not a cardigan. Guys. Might get a cardigan though.
Anyway, welcome back, Darius.
Thank you.
What's your thoughts on the season ahead? Basically tomorrow's game, I would imagine. How are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think tomorrow's a free hit for Nuno. I'm not saying that I don't care what happens, but if we lost, I wouldn't mind at all. I honestly, I'm not judging him on the big games. I think he's got a very good big game record with Wolves. I think that it's going to improve under him, and I think there will be a lot more resemblant of our Jose's side and sort of playing a slightly deeper and sort of catching teams on the counter. I just think that if we don't beat City, it's not at the end of the world. I just think the game after is it Wolves or Watford next? Is it Watford after City? Those are the games for me that I want to see a difference, because at the end of the day, there we go. Typical Danny Rose comments here. I was waiting for that one.
Only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time. Anyway, for me, if you actually look back at last season, we were very, very annoyed at Jose because of the way he played not the smaller, because I don't want to be disrespectful, but the games that you expect to win, we wanted to see a bit more of a dominant performance, a bit more of presence from our team, maybe a bit more goals. And for me, from pre-season, clearly an attacking intent in our team. For me, it's the final third that I can really see a big difference. When we get into that final third, and I'm going to use I'm not even going to call them noisy neighbours, our silent neighbours over in North London. They can keep possession very, very well. They had 65% possession against Brentford, but when they get to that final third, they've got no idea what to do. At least when I see us getting to that final third, well, in pre-season at least, it's one touch, Son's making a run, and it's straight into attack. It's not dilly-dallying, it's not trying to pick a perfect pass. It's straight in. Once the ball's in that final third, one touch into the final third. So for me, if we can continue that and add the addition of Harry Kane, if he stays, if he goes, I do believe that we'll probably get into strikers of a very, very good quality. So for me, I'm not that fussed about sort of the personnel missing and players not being convinced, because I think that the three signings we've made already with Galini, Hill and Romero could all make a difference tomorrow. And that's what I want to see, our signings being able to impact the first team. And honestly, it's one of those where it's the first game of the season. Not everybody's back. Like we said, we've got a new manager in. There's still ideas needing to be installed, but it's one of them where I'm more confident about this Man City game than I have been about a lot of Man City games. So I can only be excited for the season, really and truly. And if Nuno can, and Paratici, like I said, this rebuild, I was expecting it to be a 2-3 year rebuild, about 5 windows needed, but he seems to be doing a lot more in this first year. And if he can at least get maybe 2 or 3 more players that we want out and 2 or 3 more players in, then that gives us a whole more year to sort of develop as a team. And then we can still go out and look for targets in January and targets next summer. It just means that we've sped up that process and players will get used to the system and used to his tactics a lot quicker. So I'm all here for the sort of bringing in 8 or 9 players. It might not be as good a season as if we had more of a connected squad or a squad that knew each other better. But at the end of the day, that extra year of bringing them in and getting them used to the Premier League is going to go so far for our team in the future. And everybody that we're signing is young as well. So they're all going to develop. So I'm actually very excited. I don't want to get carried away, but I am actually very excited, especially if Kane stays as well.
Exactly. There's a nice segue into Kane. I think, as we've talked about, it's probably the best time to play Manchester City. I don't think there's an ideal time, but I'd say at the beginning of the season is probably more so than the middle towards the end when they're going for the titles.
It's
and
currently
stuff.
23 degrees in ideal Georgia, the United
What's he just
States.
telling me something? What's Siri telling me? Oh, it's telling me I need to move on to my next.
Apparently.
It's telling me to move on to my next part of the show. So Harry Kane, we don't know what's going on quite yet. He's definitely in and around the squad. He's trained, not seen many pictures come out of training as they usually do. Nuno had his press conference yesterday, had a few things to say about Harry Kane's availability for Sunday. Let's just have a little bit of a listen to what he did have to say when asked about Kane's involvement for Sunday.
We still have the session of tomorrow to decide, like I mentioned to you, Romero, Brian, players, Harry, players that don't have too much and too many sessions with us. We have to think, and we still have the day of tomorrow to make the decisions.
Okay, so a little bit kind of, well, not sure what he's saying there, really. He's kind of saying he's still going to make a decision. We all know when managers previously have mentioned about Harry Kane when he's not been fit, and he said, oh, he might be there, he usually starts. How do you think the fans, and I'm going to come to you first, Mr. K, how do you think the fans would react if Harry Kane is thrown straight into the starting 11 come tomorrow's game?
Well, there's nothing new there that Kane gets to start after he's been injured or if there's something happened. He doesn't normally... He's the only player that we would ever play like that. But from what Nuno has said, normally when any of our managers talk about Kane, they'll say, you know, it's touch and go, it's 50-50. They're talking about the match day. He's turned around and just called about Saturday and said, well, you know, we're going to wait for the training session tomorrow. I think there's definitely something weird going on there. I've got a funny feeling that, you know, I hope he plays. I genuinely hope he plays. If he does, we stand a chance against Man City, and obviously, you know.
Do you want him to start though, Mr. K? Do you want him to start?
I want a team to start for Spurs on Sunday that's going to beat Man City. Now, if that includes Kane, fantastic. If it doesn't include Kane, then I want to see the rest of the team to step up, because we're going to have to play an awful lot of matches without him in that case. Sunday's the lip test to find out for us fans whether or not Kane's going to feature in the rest of the season or not. If he plays tomorrow, then there's a good feeling. That means that there's a possibility that Levy's going to keep City out from buying him. And I think basically right now the offer is going to be 150. That was pronounced on Friday. And at the same time as the announcement, the press conference that Nuno gave. So the way I look at it,
but they said 150 euros. That's a difference from 150.
No, it's a bidding process. It's a bidding process. You put this in, they say no. You put this in, they say no. Then you do that, and then they kind of have a little think about it. So this could rumble on until the end of the transfer window if Levy wants to get, say, 170, 180 out of him, right? So if that's the case, then we're going to end up having Kane for the rest of this month, and that's only a good thing. Look, however small amount of time we can get Kane playing on the pitch is a good thing for us. We need the results.
Mr. K, can I ask you a question though? If that is at the sacrifice of not bringing in an adequate replacement or adequate replacements, because I believe if we sell Kane, we need two 50, 60, 70 million pound strikers. Would you still take that if we could only bring in, let's say, one of Lautaro Martinez or Dusan Vlahovic? Would you take that if Kane stays until the 31st? Because I think I agree with you. I think it's going to go until late. I don't think he's going to be sold sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Darius, the thing is, right, it's a game by game. This is a marathon that we're going to play in the league, game by game. So if he's there for the first few games and he's not there for the rest of the season, at least we've got some good quality there for the few games. Now, as far as replacements are concerned, Levy's, you know as well as me that Levy's not going to bring a replacement that we actually need. He's never shown that. So with Paratici here, it seems to me that when the goalkeeper left like Hart, we got a replacement. When a defender left like Toby, we got a replacement. When we needed to bring in a new wonder kid for development, we brought in Gill. So now it seems that if the striker goes, then we'll have to recruit a striker. Now that means that Paratici's already got people lined up in case that happens. Secondly, we need a second striker anyway. So whoever it is going to have to step in.
But going back to the point I'm trying to make for tomorrow, how do you think the fans would react if he starts? Given that he hasn't appeared in pre-season, we've played Son up front, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I think they're trying to, and Nuno kind of said something in his press conference which suggested to me that Son is going to be looked to be playing down the middle, because he was asked that question, and he said Son, obviously with his talent, has the ability. We're looking at a few things, and I'm thinking that Son is going to be our central striker in a false nine type of approach. It's then who's going to be playing on the wings, because I personally don't believe Harry Kane's going to be here after the 31st. That's my personal opinion. If he started tomorrow, I'd be very disappointed. I'll be honest with you. If he started tomorrow, I'd be disappointed. As a fan, I'd want our best team on the pitch, but I don't think he's going to be in the frame of mind or at the fitness levels to be one of the best players on the pitch, given we've seen their other players play.
When you talk about fitness levels, you've got to remember that he did play, the Euro. So he's already been playing extra as it is. He's just recently taken a break. He started training. He was alone in the lodge. So he's going to keep his fitness levels up. This thing about the endurance side of it.
Hold up for. So yesterday was a prime example for Arsenal. They missed out on Aubameyang because he said he was ill. Lacazette was ill, but Saka didn't start. Saka went to the World Cup as well. So, World Cup, Euros as well. So he's one of their best players, if not their best player from last season. They didn't play him for similar reasons. You can't just play a player coming back after a Euros tournament, Copa America, and just throw them in. I think that would be really bad of Spurs to do that, and it will send out the wrong message. I don't want to see Kane play at all, but to just say, okay, as we've done in the past, all right, Harry Kane, here you go. You can just do what you want, start the game. I don't think it's going to go down well with 60,000 people in the stadium.
Look, the stadium fans, right, we're going to be split between four different ways. Some are going to be shouting out Enoch out, some are going to be shouting out Levy out, some are going to be rearing on about yesterday's results for Arsenal, to get a chance to sing about it in the stadium. There's going to be some people that are going to turn around and boo Kane when he comes on. That's a fact. That's going to happen, regardless. But once you get into about 5-10 minutes of the game, right, everyone's now watching the game. Everyone's watching the match. So if Kane is available, he should be selected. He's our best asset. So forget the politics aside. We want to win games. We need points. And the first game of the season is you're putting a tent pole in the middle of the pitch and saying, right, this is where we stand. And I think this is Nuno's chance, right, to really show us fans what he's putting together, with our team.
Let me ask Darius. What if you see Kane start tomorrow? What would your thoughts be in terms of the way the game would pan out, and also the way the fans would react to that?
I think I'm similar to you. It will sort of signal what our intent, or not even intentions, but really Spurs' view on Kane altogether. I think we all know it, but if Kane starts, and I hate saying things like this, but it feels like they put him above the club or above the team's best wishes. Because I think I agree with you, Mr. K, and I also agree with you there, Sam. I think he is our best asset, and we do need him on the pitch if he's fit, and he'll probably score a goal. But at the same time, you're right, Saka didn't start. Arsenal had players out, but still were able to, I know it's Brentford, but they were able to still dominate possession and stuff like that. So I just think that it's really like I said, it's what's best for the team. I think that Harry Kane shouldn't start. I think we've seen enough from the front four, and they should be given a chance, even though some of those players I don't agree should even be in the team. For example, Dele Alli, but he's played okay in preseason. So you want to see what they can do. Like Mr. K said, it's a litmus test. I want to see what all the players can do, not just the team. I want to see what individual players are about this season, because there's a few that have to prove to themselves that they still deserve a spot. There's a few that shouldn't even play. I think that players like Winks won't even get a look, say, in the game. But for me, Kane, it's one of them. I think that he has to have some sort of role or impact on the team tomorrow. I think he'll probably come off the bench if we're losing. If we're winning, I don't think he'll probably come off the bench until probably 80 minutes. But again, will we be winning against City? That's not high chances. So I'm all for what's best for the team, and also what's best for sort of the ethos and the group feeling around. If people are going to feel a certain way about Kane starting, then maybe not starting, because at the end of the day, his mind is on his next challenge. And there's some players that their mind's on Tottenham and they want to play for Tottenham right now. I know we get onto Winks, but he does seem like he wants to play for Tottenham. So at the end of the day, if Kane's heart and eyes are set somewhere else, he isn't going to play 100%. And for me, there's no point in playing him. But I don't think Harry Kane's like that. I think that he'll always put in effort. I think he's got a World Cup to think about. I think he does love Tottenham with all his heart. So I think he will try it until you officially say, 150 million pounds or whatever deal we strike. Because I'm starting to believe that Kane might leave now that they've lodged this 120. I think it was 127.5 million pounds it equals to. So if they had 13 million add-ons or 23 million add-ons, should I say, they've met our valuation. So we just have to be careful. But for me, Kane has to prove to us that he's still gonna die hard for the shirt, even though we all know he's probably gonna leave. That's what I want to see. I want to see Kane still try hard for us, even if it's against Man City.
Sid, you're going to be at the stadium tomorrow. How are you going to react to the starting 11 if it includes Harry Kane?
Personally, myself, I don't think he should start. He should not start, because at the end of the day, he's only just come back to pre-season training. A couple of days he's been doing it. We've got a settled team that's been doing pre-season friendlies. You're going to then put him in. Situation is going to be hostile as it is anyway because of what's going on in the background. He's not going to be 100%. Is his man going to be on the game? Because if he starts and he's getting booed and there's things being said about him, is that then going to change his mentality, and how's he going to react to that? I think the only way he starts is if it's a cunning plan by Daniel Levy to say, you know what, I'm going to start him, let him go and batter Man City or score a couple of goals. That will drive the value up. But if I was Nuno, I'd be saying, do you know what, Harry, as much as you're number one, you're top dog, you've only just come back. Grealish didn't start the other day. Saka didn't start the other day. And they've already come back in pre-season before you did. So what you need to do is come off the bench if you need to come off the bench, right? Just see what happens. Like Darius said, if we're losing, if we're winning, doesn't make a difference. Just come on for 10, 15 minutes. City will still going to go for him regardless. But imagine if the whole squad have been training, he's not even been anywhere near them, and then on match day, he starts. I would be pissed. I would be gutted, because no matter how well you've been playing, you get dropped for Harry Kane. They're going to think, is he the golden boy? Is it because it's Harry Kane? And like a lot of people are saying, Kane's not bigger than the club. The club will still survive without Harry Kane. I know they've put in a bid in. I think yesterday I've read that Bernardo Silva is now happy to be involved in the deal. So that 127 plus Bernardo Silva might happen. I
don't know about you guys, but I'd take that. I would definitely take that.
I would
100%
he's up for it, right? And secondly, and a lot of my people might disagree with me, Lukaku was top dog last season. He delivered. He's won trophies. He done well in the Euros, 98 million, right? Compared to what Kane's done, you ask people who they're going to take. Lukaku's had a better season. He's even proved it in the Euros. So if he's gone for 98 million, we've got to take 127 and Bernardo. But going back to your original question, Sam, I won't be happy if he starts tomorrow. I don't.
Mike,
that's me.
How's he done better in the Euros when Kane ended up in the final?
He scored more goals.
I think Lukaku had a better Euro. I think he had a better Euros than Kane. He was much more influential for his team. Kane really didn't show up until we were all. I was slating Kane until the knockout rounds. He wasn't really doing much until the knockout. So.
I'm going to move off Harry. I just want to get Mike's thoughts on it in terms of for tomorrow. I know he's one of our best players, and I know you're a Kane fan. I'm a Kane fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying. I'm just thinking of the team in general going forward. If you play them and all the rumbling still happening, and 31st he goes anyway, let's say he does, it's whether he stays. If the club can convince us, and Nuno was saying the right things yesterday, but still wasn't convincing enough to say 100% he's staying, because they would have come out and said at any cost he's not going. They've not said that, so there is a price. How do you think that's going to affect the team morale going forward if he comes in tomorrow, just rolls up, yeah, I'm starting? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it'll affect the team morale. I don't think it'll affect the team morale at all, because, I mean, we've all played football at various levels. If you've got your best striker fit and available, playing against the champions, you'd probably be the morale levels might be boosted. The fact that, especially if Stones is out injured, I mean, okay, if Kane doesn't play, then it's going to be the likelihood is going to be Son starting up front. Now, with all due respect to Son, he's not a number 9 at all, and although he is deadly in front of goal, he is far much better out on the left, doing what he's done year on year. And I think if I was,
I'm just going to interrupt you. I think Son's going to develop centrally, but that's just my thoughts. I know what you're saying. Go on. Sorry, just putting that.
I think if I was playing in the team tomorrow, if Harry Kane's name was on the team sheet, it would boost my morale, because you've got the best striker in the Premier League up front. He's not going to be unfit. Let's be honest. He played almost every minute in that tournament, so his fitness levels will be there or thereabouts, similar to the rest of the squad. It's just his sharpness might not be there because he hasn't played in the pre-season games. But I would rather start Harry Kane in a hostile situation. I think it'd be better off starting him rather than bringing him on as a sub, because if you bring him on as a sub, you're just asking. You're asking for him to get a load of grief, and it just could spiral into a negative impact. Whereas if you start him, the fans are gonna, if they do boo, you're gonna boo before kickoff, and then everyone's gonna forget about it. And then you could bring him on, or you could bring him off after maybe an hour, because he'll have a good hour in the tank before he starts getting tired. So
it's going to be his performance. It's going to be down to his, like you said, you're right in a couple of things you were saying. They're really good points that about if he was to be brought on as a sub, we might be down in the game. If his effort levels weren't there, people would just be on his case. The other thing is, if he played within himself, would he be saying, I'm not playing to the 100% because I don't want to get myself injured potentially? There's all kind of connotations that could go with him starting or not starting. I just don't know which way it's going to go at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think it's a big statement for Nuno as a new boss to leave your best player or your best striker, your most deadly asset out of the squad, out of the team, the starting 11. That's a big statement for him to make. And if he does that, then fair play to him. He's got a pair of balls on him. But for me, especially if you've got the Chuckle brothers at the centre backs, Sanchez and Dyer, who are likely going to start, then you're going to need to score goals. And Son as a number 9, I honestly think he's more of a handful on the left. Leave Kane up front as that pivot right at the top to play through. And as I say, if you get an hour out of him and he notches one goal, then it's paid off. But
whilst you're talking, I'm just gonna put up just some information here for everybody.
I don't think he's going to leave. I still don't, because it's a massive change in heart from Levy to then turn around after all that time saying, no, he's not for sale. He's not for sale. For them to then turn around before the season sort of closes and then say, yeah, okay, we're going to sell him. He's just going to lose. He'll lose face, and his word of him being a tough